Alice, thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity. And good afternoon to everybody out there. Greetings from Maun in Botswana. I think I'll just climb straight into it and give you a little bit of background on Ker Downey. In essence, Ker Downey is one of the safari pioneers within Destination Botswana. The company, in fact, in the late 60s, at the time of Botswana's independence, um, became one of the first companies to be issued concession areas where non-consumptive tourism or photographic tourism took place, and that happened in the Shindi concession, and we still sit with Shindi today. So our history within the destination has been quite extensive. With that, and as we look at ourselves today, we operate the company on three sort of core pillars. The first one is our access to some really rare areas and our privilege to this access, where we are able to provide experiences for people visiting our destination, travelers to our destination, that allow access to their experiences in a very raw format, because we have these incredible, big, wild, private areas that we operate in predominantly. With that, and because the company has been in operation for so long, we've been able to refine our hospitality offering so that it's unique to what we have and what we offer as Ker Downey Botswana. Um, our purpose and our focus within what we do as a company. Firstly, just to point it out to you, we're 100% Botswana owned. We're in destination. My office is in destination. I'm right next door to our operations and our reservations offices, and we're about 200 meters away from Maun Airport. So we pride ourselves on being very close to the product, close to the destination, and certainly the service that we offer you is one that is is there. With that, what we're doing in Botswana is our investment in sort of key areas. The first one is people, and not only just our staff. What's fascinating about Ker Downey, it's part of a larger company known as Chobe Holdings. And within that, Chobe Holdings is listed on the Botswana Stock Exchange. So direct investment by Botswana and by our own people in our business practice is possible. With that, we understand the value of developing the youth. So we have various upliftment and training programs from grassroots level all the way through our own business, within the destination through our operations. Our support and research in certain species within certain areas is part of our purpose out there, as well as we take the conservation of these rare areas that we have access to quite seriously in terms of our operations. And then just from a sustainability point of view, we try and stay ahead of the trend. I believe we are the first, I think, and the only safari operation company in Botswana that is 100% solar powered within all our operations out there, and other elements like water purification, water sanitation plants, and so on, so that the impact of our operation on the environment reduced as best possible. Our sister company is Safari Air, who are our preferred carrier. They have a combination of aircraft, and the links between the various areas that we operate in made really simple and made easy when booking with Ker Downey. For those of you that are not familiar with Botswana, it's a landlocked country sitting in the center of Southern Africa. And within that, the northern part of the country is predominantly the areas that most of the tourism activities take place in. We're based in Maun, which is at the base of the Okavango Delta, and our network of properties on the map on the left-hand side, you can see there. So I'm going to go through each and every one with you, but basically the areas that Ker Downey Botswana operate in is out of Maun. Gray's Eden is the first property we opened in August last year. The first little boutique hotel that is in Botswana, and it's based in Maun, about 10 minutes from Maun Airport. I'll speak to you more about that as we carry on. On the northern boundary of the Central Kalahari Game Reserve, we have Dinaka, which is a private conservancy owned by Ker Downey Botswana. I'll go into more detail there as well. And then up in the Okavango Delta, we offer on the western flank of the Okavango Delta in a private concession area, Kanana. On the eastern side of the Okavango Delta, within Moremi Game Reserve, we have Okuti, Shindi and Shindi Footsteps on a private concession area in the central Okavango Delta. And in March this year, way up on that northern little pinky of the Okavango Delta, where the Okavango Delta meets the Cylinder Spillway, we opened Maksa earlier on this year. The locations that we operate in are quite varied and diversified. Private concession areas in Shindi Footsteps, and Kanana. Private conservancies in Dinaka and Maksa, which is actually a community conservancy area. The Okavango Delta Moremi Game Reserve, we have Okuti, and then Maun Gray's Eden, a unique little property that came into our portfolio of products last year. Within these, we offer a variety of activities that guests can partake in. So land-based activities, water-based activities, cultural activities. We cater to families. In fact, we're the pioneer operator in Botswana catering to family travel. A lot of focus on photography within some of our key products. We've got facilities to cater for that as well. And a variety of activities can be put together in any Botswana itinerary when traveling with Ker Downey Botswana. Our camps, our lodges, our properties are all intentionally built, and the whole philosophy around it is that it blends and it fits within the different ecosystems that we operate in. They're all small, anywhere between 4 and 9 rooms per property, and very much in touch with the areas that we operate in. Ker Downey itself, as a company in the past 18 months, has been through, we're very much a company on the move, and we have been through a lot of investment upgrades, new builds within our product portfolio of recent investment into our existing camps, our infrastructure, our vehicles, our boats, more particularly in the last year, has been substantial. New properties, we opened Maksa, we've opened Gray's Eden, as well as our first property in Zambia, which we're not going to discuss in this webinar, but it'll come up in a future presentation that is a lot more focused on what we're doing there. And then our investment in our services and standards department, taking a close look at our offering in terms of hospitality training. There's a full service team that we've put together in the last year that's really focused on various elements of our operation. We've changed the wine list. We've taken on new wine suppliers. We have a new executive chef that's come in that is working with all the properties on our dining and our food experience. And we're looking at constantly lifting and investing in our service levels throughout the company. But if you go down and you sort of really take a look at the nitty-gritties, this is the 2026 rates that were released last week. And more specifically, straight down to business, you go into the peak season period and you take a look at how we do our rates. So we offer it on a long stay booking basis. This is across 3 seasons where the more nights booked within the circuit, the better the overnight rate becomes. It's broken down by property. And if you just go straight to our flagship properties, which obviously Shindi and now the new Kanana fall into that bracket on a simple 1-night stay at $1,770, it has certainly put us in a place where, if you consider the quality of the product that is out there, the access to the areas that we offer, the variety of activities, the value proposition with these products are unmatched in destination Botswana. I mentioned our investment in our equipment. It started last year with the complete refurbish of our entire fleet of vehicles throughout all the properties. I'm very happy to say all vehicles in every single camp has been rebuilt, brand new ones put into place, as well as those that still had longevity with them, completely redone. And it starts off with the suspension systems, the complete design of the vehicle configuration, which allows for individual seating, a lot more comfortable seating as well, padded armrests, camera boxes, tote boxes, camera and phone recharge points at every seat, and then the simple system of 4 bolts, 2 at the front, 2 at the back, and the roof can come on, the roof can go off. In winter, we like to take it off. It just gives guests more of a spatial awareness. We have redone all our boats throughout the fleet in all our camps. These as well, with individual seating, comfortable vehicle seating, cup holders, tote boxes for camera equipment and so on underneath each seat, and just making it a lot more spacious in terms of our operations. Everybody that you engage with who run product out here are going to try and tell you that they have the best guides. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to tell you is the minimum qualification for our guides at Ker Downey Botswana are walking qualified trails, weapon handling licensed guides. And the reason for that, and that's where they start, that's the entry level of our guides. And the reason for that is we acknowledge and we realize we've got access to these incredible areas where a multitude of activities can happen, and to be flexible to the guests' needs when they are out there, the ability to, in the middle of a game drive, stop, unsheath the rifle, get out of the vehicle, head out on foot to go and experience where you are, so that the whole experience with us is more immersive, as opposed to structured morning game drives, afternoon game drives, boat activities, Mokoro activities. Being able to offer a more interactive and expressive experience in terms of the activities that guests do with Ker Downey, the necessitates the ability to have the more highly qualified guides in place. I believe other camps and properties that offer walking, for instance, as an activity might have 1 or 2 licensed walking guides within their camps. where those activities are specifically structured around it. The flexibility of being out there with Ker Downey and being able to do a mix of activities is certainly central to our experience and our hospitality offering as a company. All right, we're going to get straight into the geography of where we are and what the products are all about. And I'm going to start off with a Dinaka that sits on the northern boundary of the Central Kalahari Game Reserve, which is approximately a 25 to 30-minute flight out of Maun. What makes Dinaka unique is it is actually freehold land. It is owned by Ker Downey Botswana. And in the past year, we've been able to add on additional tracts of land to the Dinaka Conservancy, where at the moment it's in excess of 40,000 hectares, or approximately 40,000 hectares down there in the Kalahari, and basically has one family room, 7 standard rooms, and these massive tracts of wild Kalahari terrain and landscape that's there. Furthermore, with the addition of the extra space to Dinaka Conservancy, we've been able to put in additional water holes in the past year. With these, we have built photographic hides and bunkers that enhance the experience for travelers to Dinaka. What's important to know about Dinaka compared to any of the other arid area products that are out there, which include possibly Naipan, the Makgadikgadi, the Central Kalahari, is that the flight access out of Maun is really easy. And when you have guests that are on a multi-destination itinerary, which includes the Kalahari with what's happening in the Okavango Delta and the northern part of the country, being able to fly out of Maun and access the Delta directly from Dinaka without having to stop in Maun again on your way into the Delta is a really big bonus. So it's seamless and it offers a whole new destination and a whole different ecosystem to our overall offering within the destination. Dinaka, over and above that, is home to species that you would not really and generally see and encounter when you are in the northern parts of the country. And these include oryx, gemsbok, big herds of eland, and then brown hyena, honey badgers, bat-eared foxes. There's a variety of species that are quite prolific down there in the Kalahari that add to the overall Botswana safari experience when putting Dinaka together with what is happening in the northern part of the country. I mentioned the photographic bunkers and hides. This is sort of a classic view of one of the bunkers. And the reason for that is you're at eye level to the animals coming down to drink. So for those of you that have photography enthusiasts, the ability to get really close to what is coming to drink. And in Dinaka, because it's Kalahari, it's an arid environment, the access to water is so vital in terms of the wildlife experience there. It's a year-round destination. Everybody refers to the Kalahari as being the most beautiful in the green season or the rainy season, which is true because it's just such a sensitive environment. The first little bit of rain, it erupts into flowers. There's beautiful butterflies. There's wonderful color. But even in the dry season, in a place like Dinaka, because it's waterhole based, the wildlife and the animals are coming down to the waterholes to come and drink and to get their daily water supply. So wonderful opportunities within these hides and these bunkers for the photographic enthusiasts. This is one of our new hides on one of the new water holes that we pumped last year. done in the form of a sand bushman hide. Within these, guests can sit and they can relax and observe what's coming down to drink. But we'll set up lunch, we'll set up a bar, the opportunity to spend hours within these photographic hides are possible. Then, what a lot of people do not know about Dinaka is it has a healthy population of rhinoceros. And the interaction with these species in terms of Botswana as a destination um, allows for that element that guests in the northern part of the country would not necessarily or normally experience. I think apart from Duba, in the Duba Plains area, this is the destination in Botswana where the interaction and where rhino observation can be part of any northern Botswana itinerary. We have a very active rhino monitoring unit, a very active anti-poaching unit there as well. So we generally know where they are at any one time, just within the conservancy. And what we do with guests now as well is a soft approach to observe, generally downwind, slow approach up, observe, take it in, absorb, retract, back on the vehicle, carry on with the game drive. And that sort of fits within the activity regime once at Dinaka. What you're seeing there is our sundowner deck. And basically, looking at this image, if you're looking from horizon to horizon, that is Dinaka. A whole lot of people think that, or many people think that the Kalahari is the tracts of sand dunes and so on. The area on north of the CKGR is very much acacia scrubland. It has areas of wide open grassland plains, and there's a fantastic variety of both grays and browse for wildlife down there. And we are very, very, very proud to be part of what we've built as this sort of incredible conservancy that is growing within the destination and making a Kalahari or an arid experience part of what is the traditional northern Botswana circuit. From Dinaka and at Kanana as well, we have these skybed sleep out opportunities that are available for travelers to the destination. As I mentioned to you early on, all our properties are purposefully built to fit within the environment. All the comforts are there for guests visiting the area, but the signature Ker Downey sort of style and hospitality offering comes through very strong in each property. All our properties are very different to the other in terms of how they have been built, how they've been designed, because fitting into the ecosystem and the environment that you're in is quite important to how we put our product out there. So we'll leave the Kalahari and we are moving up towards the Okavango Delta. It will be good to note and just to highlight what we are expecting this year. It appears the 2024-2025 Okavango Delta flood is rather impressive. Those of you that don't know much about the Okavango Delta, taking a look at this particular map, the Okavango Delta has its origins about 1,600 kilometers north of Botswana, in the eastern highlands of Angola. And that water travels down. The rainy season up there starts around about October and it finishes around about now. And that water travels down through these fertile lowlands of Angola, crosses the Caprivi Strip of Namibia, and when it arrives in the Kalahari, there's no real river course for it. So it spreads out and it forms what is the largest inland delta in the world. It's also the 1,000th UNESCO World Heritage Site. We've had incredibly good and thankfully good local rainfall this season. So the Okavango Delta water table, or the base, is substantially higher than what it has been. And with the good rains that are coming out of out of Angola into the Okavango Delta, we anticipate that we will have possibly one of the highest swells, floods of the Okavango Delta in the year 2025 that we have experienced in quite a few years. So expectation, and certainly those of you that have guests that are traveling to Botswana this year, from now on, the water has started arriving. It's starting to swell from now on through to sort of September, October. Expectation is that the Okavango Delta is truly going to be a sight to behold. It's going to be here in all its glory this year. So it does quite excite us in terms of what we are going to experience in the Delta this year. Up in the Moremi Game Reserve, we have a property called Okuti. This is quite a unique area. It's a satellite image of the Okavango Delta. I mentioned to you the water coming down from the northeastern side of Angola, where the catchment area is. When it arrives in Botswana, it runs into the upper section of the Okavango Delta that we know and we call the Panhandle, into the Kalahari, basically, that forms this big Okavango Delta wetland system. Chiefs Island is the main island in the center of the Okavango Delta, and it's at the top end of Chiefs Island, or just north of Chiefs Island, where this river system and the delta system actually splits. The main channel, also compounded by the fact that below the Earth's surface, underneath the Okavango Delta, there are very active tectonic plates that are constantly moving. And the result, because Botswana is flat, there are no mountain ranges and so on here, the result is you tend to have a lean from the west to the east, or the east to the west from time to time as these plates move. Currently, the major flow, the main flow into the Okavango Delta is coming down the Monachira River system, which runs past Vumbura all the way down towards the Kakanika Lagoon, where it splits off to the east down the Kwai River system, or goes further south into the Santanderdibi and the Gomoti River systems as it works its way through to Maun. So that carries the major flows on the eastern side of the Okavango Delta. What's unique about the Kakanika area is, as this water's come down through the lowlands of Angola, it's obviously picked up a lot of minerals and brought all of that down. The largest lagoon network on the Monachira River system is called the Kakanika Lagoon. And this water flows into the Kakanika Lagoon, where these minerals go into suspension. So over years and years and years of evolutionary process, these nutrients that have come down with the river have been deposited into this Kakanika area. And as a result, you have an incredibly diverse ecosystem within that area of the Moremi Game Reserve. And these range from wide open floodplains, lagoons, palm tree islands. What you're seeing here are actually Mopani tree islands. We refer to these trees as cathedral Mopanis. Traveling anywhere else in Africa, Mopani tree at best is about 2 meters tall. Here they can grow 35, 40 meters tall, and in these incredible forests. With that, a fantastic variety of browse, a fantastic variety of grazing that attracts the herbivores to this particular area. Excuse me, because it is so mineral rich. And pursuant to that, there's a fantastic variety and fantastic numbers of predators to the area. So the game viewing is really prime within the Kakanika area, and that is where Okuti is located. To the front of Okuti is the Okavango Delta, so water systems. To the back of Okuti, there is mainland where game drives can be offered. Within Ker Downey, we have made quite a few new adjustments to our activity offering in the Okuti area this year with the introduction of the Okuti barge. That upper level has a bar, has a lounge area. Underneath, downstairs, a dining area where guests can head out in the morning on their game drive, get back to the camp, climb onto the barge. They'll cruise out into the Kakanika Lagoon, and that's where there's a live cooking station on board, chef waitress station, and your brunch is served for you while you are cruising the Kakanika Lagoon area. Likewise, late afternoon, sundowner cruises, a great new alternative offering. Then we introduced this year Okuti Mokoro trips as well. So in terms of, and this is through a licensed entity owned by Ker Downey Botswana, we have the license to operate Mokoro activities in the national parks, and that has now become an additional activity offering from Okuti. Okuti was totally refurbished at the beginning of last year. It opened in about April. Quite a unique refurbish in that we utilized local artisans from Maun to come in and assist us with all the necessary work, the weaving, the basketry, the carpentry, the shelving, the artwork on the walls, in terms of our total refurbish at Okuti. And now with the new activity offerings in terms of the barge we brought in there, normal boat cruises, game drives, Mokoro activities, it is the best offering within the Moremi Game Reserve that you can provide for your guests, and certainly at a rate of $1,240 peak season on the rack. It makes it really attractive for people traveling to the destination. Our new property, which is located, that little pinky on the top end of the Okavango Delta, where the Okavango Delta meets the cylinder spillway, is Maksa. Maksa is located in an area called NG12B. NG12B sits to the east of that main water supply that comes within the northern Okavango Delta pinky of water there, where the cylinder spillway meets. And our closest neighbor to the area that Maksa operates in is Karangoma. NG12A, or Area 1, is to the left of that, where there are a multitude of vehicles and activities and properties that are within that area. So Maksa is quite unique. It has 5 rooms, 1 family room and 4 standard rooms. Sits in an incredible ecosystem that is out there. It's very, very raw. It's our first year of operating within that destination, but beautifully located, overlooking the permanent Maksa Lagoon, full of hippo, and out the back activities are offered. The way and the manner that we offer activities from Maksa, they include game drives, walks, mokoros. We can do night drives there as well. But the whole ethos around the activity offering is to make it quite exploratory, where you'll head out with a vehicle, you can stop, do a walk, come around the corner, climb onto mokoros. and sort of experience what this area is about. We have a great diversity of different channels within the area that we can utilize for our Mokoro activities. And what's nice about this particular area is there is no papyrus. So the views out over the floodplains from Maksa whilst out on Mokoro activity with low grass, big floodplains, quite special and quite spectacular. Unique to this particular area in terms of game offering, and it's just started in the last sort of 2 weeks, 10 days, is the zebra migration that comes off the Naipan, Mahadi Pan, lower Savuti Mababi Depression area up into the northern part of the Okavango Delta has just started arriving. And they are seeing now hundreds of zebra, which will end up being thousands of zebra in a couple of months' time, moving into this particular area because these grasslands around this Maksa area are quite attractive to them. With that, herds of buffalo. They've seen all the other species that are there. We've got two resident leopard that we've been able to locate within this particular area. One sits on an island south of Maksa, the other one just north of Maksa, which is a big male who's very relaxed as well. There are wild dogs in the area. They've picked up lions now that the zebra are moving back with them. The lions are coming through there. So we're getting to know a little bit more every day what's happening in terms of the wildlife experience there. But certainly guests that have been to Maksa in the past 2 months since it's opened have only had fantastic experiences in terms of the camp and the environment that Maksa offers. The camp looks out over the Maksa Lagoon. It's very small, max 12 packs. Wonderful areas to relax. There's different playgrounds within the camp that you can go and grab a book, sit, take in the environment. A great team there at Maxa that take care of the guest experience. The rooms are beautifully appointed. It's all brand new. It's a brand new build. Indoor-outdoor showers on offer. And the guests that have been there, the feedback has really, really been good for the Maxa experience. On the western side of the Okavango Delta, we have the private concession area, Kanana. I mentioned to you earlier on about the main river flow coming down the eastern side of Chiefs Island, is the Monachiro River. Between Chiefs Island and where Kanana concession area is, there is no activity, but it's an area known as the Tor Flats, which is one of the most shallow sort of areas of the Okavango Delta system. And with years and years and years of these minerals coming down the Okavango Delta river system, these mineral deposits into really deep carbon-rich peat fields, subterranean peat fields, have formed into the northern section of Kanana. This allows for a variety of grass species, plant species, browse, big, beautiful tree islands within the area, and incredible landscapes there. This water that comes down with the Okavango Delta system, once it gets into those peat fields, travels predominantly subterranean. So it's sitting below the ground surface. At this time of the year, the flood coming in, it does flood into this particular area, which allows for us to offer water-based activities when that water is up. But what it does in terms of this mineral-rich subterranean substructure give rise to a variety of plant species that attracts an incredible diversity of game to the area. So it is when you are there, you take a look at what's running around and everything looks groomed. It is really nutritious and it is plentiful in terms of its wildlife offering. The Kanana concession area is quite possibly one of the most beautiful and one of the most productive private concession areas in the Okavango Delta. In terms of the camp, from Kanana, we offer a variety of activities, game drives, night drives, walks, mokoros, when the water's up, boating. And Kanana is also home to the largest heronry in Southern Africa, the Kanana heronry. Anything up to 50, 60,000 breeding birds that'll come in from July to October. And from here, we do boat cruise and mokoro excursion with a purpose. Even folk who are not interested in birds walk away from Kanana twitching. It really is a wonderful spectacle. The camp itself, Kanana, we have just concluded and opened just over a month ago, the brand new Kanana. And we are very, very, very proud and very happy of this beautiful property. It looks out, we brought it forward from where the original camp was, and it looks out over this expansive floodplain that is filled with lechwe and impala. The area, as I mentioned to you earlier on, very, very game rich and allows for a diversity of activities there. The decor, the look, the feel, the space, even in the new rooms that have been totally rebuilt, your whole spatial awareness of the environment that you're in is brought into the rooms. From the bedroom area, from the bathroom area, lounge area, looking out over even from the shower, looking out over these floodplains. There's the color palette. It's the inspiration we use to put Kanana together, and certainly one of the top private concession areas in the Okavango Delta, now made available through this beautiful and newly rebuilt Kanana camp, which opened, as I said, just over a month ago. Sleep out options also available at Kanana. The flagship of Ker Downey, where the company's existence started, was the Shindi concession area. And Shindi is quite unique in that it offers a variety of activities guaranteed year-round. So boating, mokoros, walks, game drives, night drives, and a combination of all into one activity can be done from Shindi. And this concession area is really, really beautiful. To the front of the concession area, you have your more aquatic adapted species. Out the back of the concession area, a very, very, very rich diversity and highly productive area for guests to experience on a more exclusive basis when traveling to the Okavango Delta. Shindi, once again, like the others, purposefully built to fit into the environment that you're in. When you're at Shindi and you're looking out from the camp, you know that you are in the Okavango Delta. Beautiful landscapes out over the lagoon. It's a permanent lagoon. Water's there all the time. Variety of lounges, different areas. When they built Shindi, they never removed a tree. Everything has been built in and around what was the existing landscape and the existing Shindi Island. And Shindi, for all intent and purpose, is a Ker Downey flagship camp in terms of its offering. So very spacious, comfortable rooms and amazing wildlife experiences within the Shindi concession area. Out the back of the Shindi concession area, Shindi Footsteps. 4 rooms, 1 family room, 3 standard rooms. Beautiful area, very unique area. The camp as well, completely rebuilt 2 years ago, and offers a fantastic experience for travelers to this area. low grass, big open floodplains, fantastic for walking, really highly productive in terms of the wildlife experience, a great mix, a great variety of species within the area, and a very, very productive wildlife experience for people that are visiting this particular area. When you're back in camp, it's small, it's intimate, but there's no asking for any of the luxuries or the comforts that you would find in any of the other Ker and Downey properties. One family room, three standard rooms, and beautifully located overlooking this little lagoon. In February last year, not in February, sorry, in August last year, we opened Gray's Eden. And Gray's Eden is basically a property intended for travelers coming to the destination that need or are wanting a stopover in Maun, either to recuperate after the flight fatigue, the travel fatigue getting to the destination, or to recharge post-safari before returning back home. Gray's Eden offers 5 villas and 7 cottages. It was a brand new build. There is quite nothing like it in Botswana. We have an amazing kitchen, a really good food offering, really good wine offering, double studio spa, and just the opportunity for guests to unwind, to relax, to enjoy Maun for what it is in a unique, very comfortable and luxurious setting. I mentioned to you 5 villas. These are the interior of the villas. They're nice, they're spacious, they have their own verandas, full his and hers bathroom, walk-in shower, and the standard rooms are a bit more basic in terms of their space, but allows for very comfortable air-conditioned accommodation option for guests that need a stay in Maun. Right, folks, I think that is it from me in terms of the product updates that are there. I'm happy to answer any questions, any queries that anybody might have.